Once upon a time, there lived a handsome billionaire named CHINEDU. CHINEDU was well known for his fame and fortune. CHINEDU's father is a billionaire businessman who travels often for business trip. While he is away, CHINEDU will take charge over his father's business and organization. CHINEDU has been in several relationships built in lies and fake smile by his partner. Welcome to my channel, African Tales by Jay. In this channel we bring to you captivating and interesting story from all angles that will make your day. Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, so whenever I drop an amazing story, you will be the first to get notified. CHINEDU was no ordinary student. He was enrolled in one of the most prestigious universities in Lagos, a school full of bright minds and ambitious young people. On the surface, CHINEDU appeared like every other student, dressed in a rough cloth and behaved like every student, carrying a simple backpack and living in a small apartment near the school. But behind the scenes, CHINEDU was the heir to one of the wealthiest families in Nigeria. His father, a mogul in the oil industry, had built an empire that spanned continents. CHINEDU's life was a life most people would dream of, a life of luxury, private jets, and expensive cars, but it was also a life that had become increasingly lonely. For years, CHINEDU had searched for love, but all his relationships had ended in heartbreak. His wealth, his fame, and his name seemed to attract the wrong kind of women. He had been deceived by fake smiles and empty promises by others' ladies, often falling for women who only wanted him for his money. No one seemed to care about the real CHINEDU, the young man who was kind-hearted, thoughtful, and simply wanted to find someone who loved him for who he truly was. All he ever wanted was his money. His wealth had become both a blessing and a curse. One evening, as CHINEDU sat in his lavish apartment overlooking the Lagos skyline, he made a very strong but wise decision that would change his life forever. He was tired of the endless cycle of heartbreak and disappointment. He was tired of being surrounded by people who only cared about what he could give them, not who he was. So he came up with a bold plan. He would pretend to be poor. He would enroll himself in his university, just like every other student, living normal and humble life, and see if he could find true love without the shadow of his fortune hanging over him. The beginning of a new life. CHINEDU enrolled in his second semester at the university, but this time he was determined to live like a regular student. He sold off most of his expensive clothes, packed his designer bags away, and bought a second-hand phone. He moved into a small, run-down apartment in a quieter part of Lagos, far from the luxury braces and wealth of his family's estate. He even started taking public transport instead of his private driver.
Every morning, he dressed in plain t-shirts, faded jeans, and sneakers, looking just like any other university student. In the first few weeks, CHINEDU felt a strange sense of freedom. He could walk around campus without being recognized, attend lectures without attracting the gaze of strangers, and even join student groups without anyone knowing who he really was. But most importantly, he felt like he could finally be himself. There was no need for pretenses. He was just another young man looking for friendship, looking for love. It wasn't long before he caught the attention of a beautiful and humble girl named Amara. Amara was different from the other women. Amara is a brilliant girl in the school, who always focus on what she came for. Superscript 35 also mind her business. CHINEDU had known her before. She was genuine, compassionate, and not interested in material wealth. She was an economics student, passionate about helping people, and she had been raised in a modest family. Unlike the women he had dated in the past, Amara didn't notice the small things like his clothes or the brand of his shoes. She noticed his kind smile, the way he always helped his classmates with their studies, the way he helped other people financially, most especially the way he makes everyone laugh. It's like he is the god of laughter. One day, after a particularly interesting lecture, Amara sat next to CHINEDU in the library. She smiled at him shyly. "You're always so quiet, CHINEDU. I don't think I've ever seen you at the parties or hanging out with the other students." CHINEDU replied her saying, "I guess I just don't fit in with that crowd. I prefer being by myself, reading or working on projects." Amara understands him, she replied. "I understand. It's easy to get lost in the noise. But, sometimes it's nice to have someone to talk to." Her words made CHINEDU's heart race. For the first time in a long while, someone was reaching out to him, not because of his wealth, but because of who he was. They spent hours talking that day, discussing everything, from their hopes for the future to their favorite books. It felt so natural, so real. CHINEDU was smiling helplessly, gazing at her. His heart was filled with joy. In the weeks that followed, CHINEDU and Amara grew very closer. They studied together, shared meals at the university canteen, and spent long hours walking through the campus holding hands together, discussing life and their dreams. The more time CHINEDU spent with Amara, the more he realized just how different she was from everyone else he had ever met. SHE didn't care about his family name. SHE didn't care about the cars he drove or the designer suits he wore. She cared about who he was as a person. And, for the first time in his life, CHINEDU felt that he had finally found someone who saw him for who he truly was. Someone who loved him with all her heart. Someone who is satisfied with what she have. CHINEDU was happy and can't wait to introduce her to his dad. But, as with any lie, the truth has a way of catching up to you. One afternoon, while CHINEDU and Amara were walking through the campus courtyard, they stumbled upon a group of students gossiping about a rich student who had been transferred to the university. They were whispering about the latest news. CHINEDU's true identity had been uncovered. The question is, what will Amara do when she finds out the truth? One afternoon, students that know CHINEDU's past had recognized him in the library and quickly put the pieces together. Word had spread like wildfire across the university. CHINEDU, the supposed poor student, was actually the son of one of Nigeria's wealthiest businessmen. CHINEDU went to Amara to explain why he decided to play poor. Amara's face turned pale when she heard the news. "CHINEDU, is this true?" she asked, her voice trembling. CHINEDU's heart sank. He hadn't planned for this moment, but he knew it was coming. He had to tell her the truth. "Yes, Amara. I'm not poor. I've been pretending to be someone I'm not." Tears welled up in Amara's eyes. "Why would you do that? Why didn't you tell me from the beginning?" "What else is a lie, CHINEDU?" Amara, with tears on her face, asked CHINEDU. CHINEDU felt a sharp pain in his chest. He wanted to reach out to her, to explain everything, but the words stuck in his throat. He had built this lie to protect his heart, but now it felt like the walls were crumbling around him. "I didn't want you to love me for my money, Amara. I wanted you to love me for who I really am. I was tired of people using me. I was tired of fake promise. I was tired of getting hurt in any relationship. I have been in many relationships lately which I thought I have been loved for who I am, not for my wealth. But I was absolutely wrong. That's why I had to keep my wealth and fame aside just to find a true love. I thought if I lived like this, I would finally find someone who would love me for me. But I see now that it was wrong to deceive you. I am sorry." Amara stood silently for a moment, her face unreadable. CHINEDU could feel his heart breaking, fearing that he had lost the one person who had ever cared for him. Finally, Amara spoke, her voice soft but firm. "I don't know if I can forgive you for this, CHINEDU. You've lied to me, and it hurts. But I do appreciate that you tried to find something real. I just wish you hadn't built it on a lie." CHINEDU nodded, his throat tight. "I understand, and I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you." Amara took some time to process everything. For days, she avoided CHINEDU, unsure of what to do. Her heart told her one thing, but her mind told her another. CHINEDU had lied to her, but he had also shown her a side of him that was vulnerable, a side of him that was afraid of being hurt. It was a struggle. Should she forgive him for his mistake, or should she walk away for good? Finally, after much thought, Amara approached CHINEDU one afternoon in the library. "I've thought about it, CHINEDU, and I realize now that I didn't fall in love for the money. I fell for you, the real you, and maybe we can start over." CHINEDU's eyes lit up, hope rekindled in his heart. "You mean it?" Amara smiled softly. "Yes, but no more lies, CHINEDU. No more pretending." CHINEDU nodded, his heart swelling with gratitude. He had learned a valuable lesson, The truth was the only way to find love. And as for Amara, she had proven to him that real love wasn't about wealth, status, or appearances. It was about honesty, vulnerability, and being seen for who you truly are. From that day on, CHINEDU and Amara's relationship grew stronger. They faced challenges together, but they built something real, something that didn't need any pretenses.
CHINEDU no longer had to hide behind a face again. He had found true love, not in his wealth, but in the heart of someone who loved him for the man he was. Thank you for watching that wonderful story. Please do not forget to drop your thoughts about the story in the comments section. Kindly subscribe, like, and share to get more wonderful and interesting story. Goodbye for now.